Hello, everyone, and welcome back to PopCult, the show that is not a cult, where we talk about everything pop culture, films, TV shows, games, you name it. And we are back with our first chat of the year. Tyler, Happy New Year, man.
Thank you very much, man. It's been an interesting year for films and TV and games. But we're going to get into it. And this is we're not quite on a year anniversary of the show yet. We will be soon. But this is our first end of year wrap up. We're going to do like a little kind of PopCult awards show of the best and the worst of 2025.
Yeah, exactly. Depending on how quickly we manage to edit this might come out in the latter part of January. So we're well underway with 2026 by now, but we are nostalgic dudes. We like to look back at stuff and be like, all right, was this good? Was this bad? And today we're doing that with the entire year of 2025.
Yeah, this is not necessarily the best and the worst of the year as a whole in general. This is mostly from what we've seen. We will touch on some things that maybe we've been meaning to watch or we've heard are terrible, but mostly we'll focus on things that we've seen already the last year.
Exactly. So I guess, let's get into it. Without further ado, our first category for today, Tyler, is most disappointing. This could be both a TV show or a movie, wherever thing took the wind out of your sails. You were looking forward to it, and then you watched it, and you were like, "Oh, this actually is shit," and I feel stupid now.
Yeah. And I suppose if you had to scroll through our channel, and you'd see we have a thumbnail on there which has disappointing plastered right over the front of it, and that will be the 28 Years Later film that came out.
Right.
And yeah, it's going to be within my most disappointing category. And, because as we mentioned, that trailer was just unreal. It was like, one of my most anticipated movies the year before. And yeah, it just didn't live up to the potential. And I've seen it a second time since then. And it actually my viewing experience got worse because, as we mentioned, it really, there's a big second half shift and it kind of turns into a different movie. And we didn't love that or enjoy that as much as the first half. And we thought it was going to be something else. So that's, it was a big disappointment for me. And it had a lot of potential. The visual style was really interesting, good actors, good characters, good world, but it just didn't live up to the potential, unfortunately.
Yeah, I am more positive on this movie than you are. I agree with you that it's a bit unfocused, and compared to what the trailer was setting up, a lot of it was underwhelming and disappointing, especially in the second half. But I did enjoy the switch. I did enjoy the characters, especially, I thought the character of the mother, played by Judy Comer, was cool, and she played it really well. So yeah, I was mostly confused about the ending that sets up the sequel that I'm actually gonna watch tomorrow. So I guess we'll have a review of that on the channel soon too.
Yeah.
And I'm just so interested. I'm locked in, man. I think, this might be a train wreck. It might be amazing.
Really? Okay, fair.
There's no way this movie is gonna be boring, is what I'm saying. It might be bad, but it's gonna be entertainingly bad.
Yeah. Completely agree. And I feel like that was sort of my takeaway from 28 Years Later. It's like, certainly like it should be praised for like the ingenuity in terms of some of like the camera work. And, I loved that frenetic, like Danny Boyle pace that it had to it. There was some really great stuff there. And like you said, performances are pretty much all great, but it's just the direction of the script and the story that I didn't like as much. And there was a couple moments, the zombie birthing scene is up there with like one of the silliest scenes I've seen in a film all year. And it got a bit ridiculous. And like you said, got very unfocused. But there's a lot of good stuff there. I'm also going to watch Bone Temple tomorrow as well. But I'm not as excited for it. And I'm going in apprehensive, whereas I went into 28 Years like so excited, like was so buzzing to watch that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. As for me, I debated with myself for a very long time what to put here. I was thinking maybe Mickey 17 was a big disappointment for me. Like
Yeah.
a new movie from Bong Joon-ho, acclaimed director that did Parasite. I loved everything in his filmography, and I thought, oh, big American production with a great actor that I love, Robert Pattinson in the lead role. This high sci-fi premise of clones of this guy doing different jobs in this futuristic sci-fi setting, and it didn't live up to what I was hoping it to be. We did a review. Well, it wasn't really a review, but we kind of like compared it to this other movie, Moon, which we both loved, and how that movie fell short for me in many ways. But it was still a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another movie that really disappointed me, but maybe not surprisingly so, was Tron.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't really know why you'd be disappointed at that one, but
Like because I don't know, I feel like Tron as a franchise deserves a little bit better.
if you ask somebody to shit in your mouth, you can't be disappointed when they shit in your mouth.
Okay, so the reason why I'm disappointed is not because I thought Tron itself would be good. It had slop written all over it. Jared Leto is in it in a big role, and he had a big role in making this movie happen. But based on what this sequel could have been coming out of the cinema back in 2010 when I watched Tron Legacy for the first time, this could have been really cool if they followed up on what was set up in that second movie in the franchise, instead of doing this soft reboot thing that everyone is doing nowadays and doing this movie that nobody cares about and nobody went out to see. This was a huge flop. Tron is dead again, and they're not gonna make another Tron movie for at least 20 years. So, disappointing because of what it could have been.
Yeah, and I think that's like a recurring theme. And I haven't seen Mickey 17 and Tron. I won't watch Tron.
Yeah, no,
but I
never watched it.
I will watch Mickey 17 eventually. But yeah, I mean, obviously we spoke about it a while back, and you echoed a lot of what other people have said about it too, and that it's just like, how has Bong Joon-ho made such a bad movie, and like, why is it did have a lot of potential, but that's one that I definitely will get around to. But it makes sense that that's in there for you. Similarly, one of my other most disappointing films was The Running Man.
Oh, right.
And again, Edgar Wright coming in, one of my favorite directors.
Same. Hot Fuzz is like one of my favorite movies, probably top 10 movies of all time for me.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, absolute masterpiece movies, and then I really like Baby Driver. I love Scott Pilgrim. His most of his filmography is really, really good. I never watched Last Night in Soho, and I think people were a bit disappointed by that.
I enjoyed it, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, but this, I really like the original Running Man. It's got that like Paul Verhoeven style, that 80s cheese, but then it's also like, a lot of good action, and like there's some stakes and there's like some violence in there too. And Edgar Wright seemed like a great fit for a Running Man film.
Oh my God, yes.
I don't know what happened, whether it's a lot of studio interference that made the script so damn generic.
His style doesn't come through at all in this one.
Maybe like flashes here and there. You see like that quick cut pacing, or that witty like back and forth dialogue that's like really quick. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, maybe now that he's moved over and he's doing more like Hollywood productions on his own, that there is just too much meddling and his vision's being messed up. I know he was part writer on this as well, so it's not fully his work.
I've read somewhere there's this theory that kind of like, once he got involved in the making of Ant-Man, that broke him, because he was supposed to be the director of Ant-Man, and that was his big foray in Hollywood.
I can't remember exactly how long it was, but he was working on Ant-Man for like 10 years, something like that. It was a really, really long time. Yeah.
And if you look at his filmography, I like most of his movies, but after that Ant-Man debacle, where his name was even removed from the credits or something, like you can see some of his isms in the film, but
I think there's a story developed credit by him, because I think there is a lot of him in that Ant-Man film.
Yeah, no,
like,
absolutely.
not a lot, but there's definitely some, like the Michael Pena like recounting thing, like that's so Edgar Wright. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why like, if you look at the filmography that he the movies that he made after that, the dip in quality is significant. I don't know, it feels like is not as daring as he used to be in the way he kind of like directs and puts films together. I know Baby Driver is really cool from like like a production standpoint, and the editing is really on point, but is not as memorable in my opinion as most of his more like
No.
older movies. Yeah.
Yeah, the best stuff about Baby Driver is the side characters, you know, like
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx is great in it, Kevin Spacey's great in it, John Hamm's amazing in it, but like the main characters, Ansel Elgort and Lily James, and like their romance, and it's like so boring, and there's like nothing there between them really.
Yeah, very forgettable.
Yeah, but I still like Baby Driver, and again, like, don't get me wrong, Running Man isn't bad.
Yeah, no, it's not awful, but it's not as good as it could have been.
Exactly, and I enjoyed some of it, like the Michael Cera sequence. I just love seeing Michael Cera in anything, and him playing like this reclusive fucking doomsday prepper kind of guy was fucking perfect.
Yeah, I had fun in the cinema. It was an entertaining ride. It's one of those movies that entertains you as you watch it, but then you think back and it kind of like disappears from your mind as you're thinking about it. It doesn't leave like a lasting impact.
Yeah.
And I think like the ending specifically was something that
Oh my
really
God.
just left a sour taste in my mouth, because it was like,
The last act was terrible.
well, not necessarily the entire act. The final sequence could have been better, but then the way it resolves, it felt a bit, I don't know, like I just it
Very rushed at the end to get to the kind of conclusion they want.
rushed, but also the movie was so long.
I
Like,
know, yeah, I know. Yeah.
So it's a weird thing. It's a weird movie to review. It's a weird movie to kind of like put in this category. But I get it. I understand. It's entertaining. It's well made. It has good actors in it. Glenn Powell, I thought he did a decent job.
Yeah. What a waste of Lee Pace as well.
Yeah,
Like,
they keep wasting that guy.
I know, and he's usually so good, and he's got such a good voice, and like, especially he plays a great villain. You know, fair enough, whatever, put him behind a mask and just use his voice. But like, he's just not in it enough, and he's not that interesting. And then in that big fight at the end, he's in like these really like tight leather pants, and like he just looks ridiculous. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of wasted potential here.
Absolutely. But yeah, going back to my most disappointing thing, I think maybe this is recency bias, but I wanted to put Stranger Things season 5 in here.
Yeah.
I know you're not a big Stranger Things guy. You probably haven't seen season 5.
I love season 1 is amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
Like brilliant storytelling, brilliant everything. And then for me, it kept dropping in quality. And by season 3, it fully lost me. And I just couldn't ever quite get back into it.
Yeah, so I agree with you, with the exception that, and this is a recurring theme in this channel, I kept going, I kept hoping. I completely lost interest after season 3, which I still think is the worst season of the show. But then, season 4 came out and people were talking very highly about it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna check it out. And season 4 was so good to me. It was the best distillation of what Stranger Things is, in my opinion. It had mystery, it had horror, a great villain, this perfect pastiche of like 80s nostalgia and modern sensibilities. Vecna, the main villain that they introduced in season 4, is basically a Freddy Krueger type character. There's this great sense of momentum and fun. The characters are so on point, most of them at least. So yeah, it really hyped me up. I was like, yeah, this is what Stranger Things should be. This overarching kind of mystery that they were working towards. All the characters were split up and then they converge, storylines converge. It was very satisfying to watch, very entertaining. I thought it was very well made. It was really cool. It got me excited about Stranger Things again, something that I hadn't been excited about since season 1, because yeah, I enjoyed season 2, season 3 was a train wreck, and season 4 was kind of like what got me back into the fold with Stranger Things. And I didn't necessarily hate season 5, but I was left very whelmed by it. This is another example of like a big cultural thing. Like, Stranger Things was everywhere for a while. The very unexpected success of season 1. And then, like you're doing season 3 and you're doing season 4 and probably planning a big finale at some point. And this is what your end product looks like. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I've heard a lot of people enjoyed it, and I don't want to yuck anybody's yum, even though that's kind of what we do here. But I don't know, man. I know you haven't seen it, and I don't think you care about spoilers. I'm not gonna.
I've seen quite a few scenes, like, in clips. It was like a lot of it was going around on like social media, and yeah, it looks terrible. Like it just looks like a completely different show. Like it was somewhat grounded
Yeah,
in season 1. Now
exactly.
it's fucking ridiculous. I saw the scene of like 11 like flying through the air, and there's like she goes inside like a big kaiju monster.
Oh my god, the
And then
monster.
when they go inside it, it's like it looks like a perfect like cave set
Yeah, yeah.
inside the belly of this monster. I was like, this is just they don't even care
The
anymore,
set
man.
felt like a set.
And so, well, my other sort of I'd seen a lot of. I know they did, and they should never do this. If anybody's watching who makes like mainstream entertainment for like Netflix or HBO, whoever it is, do not make behind the scenes documentaries
Oh
about
my
your
god.
things. Never do it. It did terrible for Game of Thrones. It was terrible for
It is
God
so
Severance.
revealing.
It's so revealing. It's so revealing. You see them discussing, and you're like, oh, they don't have a plan. They don't know where this is
They
going.
they don't know what they're doing. Like the two brothers,
The Duffer
yeah, the
Brothers,
Duffer brothers and Sean Levy.
the Doofus Brothers.
I'm like, come on, guys, you created this world and you can't come up with like a satisfying way. You didn't have like something planned. Like the only thing that they had planned was like the very last, like the way it ends, it's actually quite charming and touching and I liked it. But like everything that came before was a clusterfuck. And season 5, it feels like this. I mean, Stranger Things has never been high art. It was just entertaining and it was well made and quick paced and like fun characters, acted well, interacting. It was fun. I'm not expecting season 5 to be like, I don't know, even though they are talking about this like it's fucking Lord of the Rings or something. Get off your high horse and deliver something entertaining that makes sense for the show. And we're all happy. But like this feels like a parody of what came before. Like they keep doing these scenes where all the characters are in a room and they have like 1,000 characters now in the show because they refuse to kill people off and they are discussing a plan, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, wait a minute, I got this, and they explain this plan in a way that in no way could they think of this on their own just because somebody said the magic word that unlocked this amazing scheme in their mind.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe it's a nitpick, maybe I'm missing something, but I was never truly hooked. The very few twists felt very obvious, or, if they didn't feel obvious, it's because they came out of left field. Like they bring back this character from season 2 and they bring her back just, I don't know, like it's so obvious what they're gonna do with this character. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the moment she's introduced, I'm like, okay, so this is what you're gonna do, and that's exactly what they
Yeah.
did. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. The ending was way too bombastic, as you mentioned. There's a huge kaiju monster, which is the Mind Flayer, kind of like real form, I guess, and
And is it Steve and Dustin? Like I've seen the clip of them underneath the kaiju monster, like
yeah.
stabbing it with little spears. It's like this is ridiculous. Like this is Disney kids shit. Like you know what I mean?
It felt like a Marvel.
Yeah, whenever there was a monster or like the demigorgons or whatever in the first season, it was like, oh shit, somebody's probably not going to make out of this. So there was a real sense of danger, and now it's like completely lost that. It seems anyway. Obviously, like I said, I haven't seen it.
I
So.
mean, I can confirm because like every time there's a Demogorgon in the show, the first few times that you see them, they are these beasts that no one can stop and they're killing everyone left and right. But as soon as a main character is in frame, they just stop
Yeah.
and start growling. And I'm like, just fucking kill them like you did with all the other people in your
Yeah.
periphery. And it's so manufactured and fake. And then at the end, when they are in the parallel dimension where the Demogorgon is from, they fight this huge kaiju and no one else is there. Like there's no Demodogs, no Demogorgons, no
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
creatures that they introduced over the years. They were like, oh, we don't know what to do because our characters cannot win.
Yeah, I'm assuming that is that's the clip from the behind the scenes documentary that I've seen referenced a lot, where it's there's like one of the Duff brothers is saying to one of the other writers, he's like, and then they go into the Upside Down to fight the big monster thing at the end, and one of the writers is like, shouldn't there be something else in there? Like, shouldn't the Upside Down be like a dangerous place? And one of the Duffers brothers is just like, yeah, I guess. It's like, oh, come on.
The Upside Down became this, I don't even know, like it didn't feel dangerous. It didn't feel like anything. Like it literally feels like they didn't know what to do. They didn't care to do it right, and they just wrapped it up as quickly as possible. And I haven't really followed the fan base because I'm not that hugely into Stranger Things anyway. But like I've heard theories that people were having because season 4 seemed like it was so well crafted and was kind of like
Yeah.
putting all these seeds, and nothing of that like was relevant or got resolved, and so many questions still hang, and I guess they're gonna answer them in fucking sequels or spin-offs or whatever, and I don't care to watch those because the story is incomplete. And again, like big monster in a parallel dimension, that's never what I liked about Stranger Things. Like that's not what I thought the show was about. It never was about big monster action. It was about mystery and vibes and these.
No, it was like there was never even that much action in the
Yeah,
first
it was just
season. Like I'm
characters.
trying to, yeah, like the biggest like events are like in the first season is like when Hopper prods like Will Byers' fake dead body and you realize it's not real, and like moments of revelations like
Yeah.
that were like the good mystery. Like
It's a very plot-driven show that's propped up by really well-realized characters that you love to see interact in fun ways and paired up in different ways every season. And then 11 comes at the end and she kills the guy.
Of course.
I'm like, I don't know, like I was so distracted, by the way, and I know people are piling up on her. I don't want to contribute to that, but like it was so distracting. Like she had some major surgery on her face, Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, it just, and I've seen scenes of her from the latest season, and she's just like pouting all the time.
She's not
and
she's not expressive anymore. Like that's my main issue.
Yeah.
Like she can do to her face whatever she wants, but good that she waited until the show was done because she looks so different and she can't emote anymore. And
to be honest, like I there's not loads, well, she's not in loads either, but like we might touch on this like later on in another category, but she was in The Electric State, and I just don't think that she's a very good actress, to be fair. Like I don't think she can give that good a performance. I thought she was really good as 11, and there's sometimes that just happens. Like you get a character who's really good at playing something in a series and you completely believe them as that character, and then they try and go off and do other things and it just doesn't quite work out for them. And I think that might be the case with old Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie blah blah blah.
Millie Bobby
But yeah, so that's
so is that's your most disappointing of 2025, is it?
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, and my one most disappointing has to go to 28 Years Later. Again, not a terrible movie, just purely for how much I was anticipating it beforehand and the potential it had. So yeah, that gets my vote.
All right, so we can move on then.